Alright, here we go. Video 2 with a new mic. Can you tell? I bet you can tell. You may have also noticed that this is a very different opening from the first video. And that's because this character is a lot more prominent in Equestria Girls. It's pretty obvious at this point who that next character is. But I'm still going to gush about her and tell you why she's amazing and why Equestria Girls is really good and why I love this series, if you want. Almost as much as G4. Not as much, but the character really carries here. Have you guessed who it is yet? I think it's obvious at this point.
My crown! She's got my crown! Stop! Thief! She's stolen my crown! Stop!
Yep, pretty easy, huh? Sunset Shimmer is my 4th favorite character in MLP. And I think that's pretty high. I don't think very many people have Sunset as high as 4. Probably because Equestria Girls was not as popular as regular G4. Which is unfortunate, but understandable. Equestria Girls is great, but it's not G4. It's definitely not G4. And unfortunately, we never got Sunset in traditional G4. But yeah, Sunset is amazing. I mean, like, you look at her design, you look at her character, you look at her arc. It's all really good. And let's get into the first reason why I really like Sunset Shimmer.
What did you say?
Alright, so I'll be the first to admit that Equestria Girls was mid, the original movie. It was not great, and one of the reasons that it was not great was because of how cliche and terrible Sunset was as a character. She was literally just high school bully that is mean and a jerk. And that's not great for her character. But as the series went on, especially the movies, particularly the movies, everything else in Equestria Girls is really not great. It's mostly the movies. To be honest, Equestria Girls is very much like G5. The movies are great, like this one. And everything else is not great, like this stuff. So we do get really good development with Sunset following the first movie, and it starts with this.
Want some help? No thanks. We're good. Oh, okay. Sunset Shimmer! Over here!
I had no idea the whole school would be here.
So this is the first scene we get after the first movie. It's the initial scene of Rainbow Rocks, and it's the first scene we get after the villains are revealed at the beginning. And it does a really good job showing the different role that Sunset is going to have in this movie. She went from the villain of the first movie to being friends with the Rainbooms, and also doing her best to try and fit in with everyone else at Canterlot High. And we see what that entails, what she has to go through, the things she has to do in this movie, in Rainbow Rocks. Rainbow Rocks is my favorite by far, and it does a really good job showing how much effort Sunset has to put in to become a reformed villain.
Keep working on those signs and posters. I think it's going to be one of the most exciting events we've had at CHS since the fall formal. I am never gonna live that down.
You were pretty bad at the fall formal.
A demon.
I turned into a raging she-demon.
And tried to turn everyone here into teenage zombies for your own personal army. Oh, darling, you have us, and we've forgiven you for your past boo-boos.
To be honest, I'd say the whole experience brought everyone at Candlelight High closer than ever before.
So that scene is really good too. We get the embarrassment and the regret that Sunset feels, but we also get the support from the Rainbooms and them showing how they've forgiven her for what she did. And I realized something while I was watching this back and starting this recording. This is going to be me talking about how great Rainbow Rocks is. Rainbow Rocks is like my favorite movie of G4. I like it more than the MLP movie. I like it more than the Pony movies. This Rainbow Rocks is amazing, and Sunset is one of the reasons. This is another reason. These three, but Sunset is a major reason, and it's because we get more and more interesting stuff with her character. I really wanted to show these scenes in particular because it shows how respectful Sunset is, because she's not really good friends with them yet and they're still doing their own thing, but you can tell that she wants to participate. She wants to be a part of the friend group, but she has enough respect to stay on the sidelines and kind of just cheer them on. With this scene, it's especially good for Sunset's character because it shows Twilight's hesitancy to forgive her, and it also shows Sunset's, again, backing off and letting the friend group that are good friends be good friends without her being overbearing or trying to force herself onto that friend group.
No, that's not gonna work.
Hey, Twilight. You're up late.
Just looking over the counterspell. We only get one shot at this. It has to be perfect.
We really are lucky you're here.
That's what everyone keeps telling me.
Who could possibly need this much whipped cream? Must be nice to have everyone always looking to you for answers to their problems, instead of waiting for you to cause a problem.
Just because everyone expects something from you doesn't mean it's guaranteed to happen.
But that doesn't stop them from expecting it.
Which only makes things harder because the last thing you want to do is let everybody down.
Now, I wanted to speak on this scene in particular because it's really important, in my opinion, to Sunset's character. And I'm going to do a little bit of speculating. It might not be accurate, but I'm going to speculate anyways. I really feel like the writers were going to try to make Equestria Girls Sunset's vehicle at this point. I feel like they felt like they had a second main character, because obviously Friendship is Magic is Twilight's vehicle, right? And it felt like they wanted to make Equestria Girls Sunset's vehicle. And so with this scene especially, it mirrors how similar Twilight and Sunset are. And that's really cool because Sunset is different than Twilight, but they're also very similar. And I really feel like Sunset could have also been the pilot of Equestria Girls for the entire duration. Unfortunately, we did hit a snag, and at some point some writer said, well, let's just bring Twilight to this world too. And then we got Sci-Twi, and then Sci-Twi kind of overtook Sunset, and then they were kind of trying to make them both main characters, but it really hurt Sunset's character that they did that, and it's unfortunate. That's why I think Rainbow Rocks is the height of Sunset as a character, and after this it's kind of downhill, but this scene is really important because of that. It shows the understanding and the camaraderie that Sunset and Twilight have with one another.
Now that's the bad girl we love to hate.
I knew she was still trouble.
The real Sunset Shimmer is back.
No, it isn't like that.
What was that?
You were showing them your magic. I didn't know what else to do.
Close the curtains, unplug her amp, give us a chance to deal with the situation?
I'm sorry. I just wanted to help.
Yeah, well, you did it.
None of this would have happened if you weren't trying to show off, as usual.
As if I needed another reason to be mad at Rainbow Dash, she pulls this crap. Isn't it funny how the element of honesty is the one who calls her on her BS? Rainbow is clearly just dumb a lot of the times, but here she's especially dumb because Sunset is obviously trying to deal with the main problem, which is the sirens, and Rainbow Dash is still just being dumb and trying to show off. And it's especially annoying with Rainbow because this literally happened a few minutes ago.
Remember, we have to be good enough to make it through, but not so good we let the sirens see the magic within us. They could realize we plan to use it against them. Got it! Be cool enough to win, but not so cool that we end up showing off the whole ears and tails and rainbows thing. So, about 20% less cool.
So, Rainbow Dash's douchebaggery aside, this is another great scene for Sunset because it sucks that she had to do this, but it also shows how much she cares about them and how much she's trying to do the right thing. Unfortunately, it's overshadowed by just really weird writing. I don't think that they'd be that malicious. I think they'd understand considering everything that's happening, but it's a really good scene for Sunset and for her development.
Stop! You have to stop! This is what they've been after all along. They're feeding off of the magic inside you.
How can they be using our magic? It's the magic of friendship.
Ever since you started this band, you've been letting little things get to you. I never said anything because I didn't feel like it was my place. Not when I was so new to this whole friendship thing. I still have a lot to learn, but I do know that if you don't work out even the smallest problems right at the start, the magic of friendship can be turned into something else.
I can't believe all this tension was happening right under my nose and I didn't realize it. I'm supposed to be the one with all the answers. And all I've done since I got here is let you down.
I don't think anyone is supposed to have all the answers, but you can count on your friends to help you find them.
So we get another incredible scene of Sunset basically being a mirror of Twilight, showing that she understands friendship as well, and even teaching Twilight a lesson that Twilight didn't know. This scene is really, really, really good for Sunset's character. It's only overshadowed by the scene later because it shows her solidifying herself as part of the main seven, but this scene is really good because it shows that same thing that I was talking about prior, which was that it really seemed like they wanted Sunset Shimmer to be the Twilight Sparkle of Equestria Girls. Unfortunately, that didn't pan out as well as it could have, but it's still really, really, really good in this particular movie.
Sunset Shimmer, we need you!
You're never gonna bring me down. You're never gonna break this part of me. My friends are here to bring me around. Not singing just for popularity. We're here to let you know that we won't let it go. Our music is a bomb and it's about to blow. And you can try to fight, but we have got the light of friendship on our side. Got the music in our hearts. We're here to throw this thing apart. And together we will never be afraid of the dark.
lot of you may not be familiar with like bands, specific types of bands, especially like K-pop bands, but they always have a center. There's always a center, a focal point, someone that you're supposed to have your eyes on, that is supposed to be the lead of the band or the center. It's self-explanatory. At this point, Sunset is the center. Literally, figuratively, visually, she is the center of the band. She is the center of the friend group. It feels like the intention here was that Sunset is now the main character of Equestria Girls. She is above the others, visually, again, and literally, and she is now the lead of Equestria Girls as their protagonist. And this is a really cool moment visually. This is just really cool completely. And it really signifies, I feel like, what they were trying to do with Sunset again. That's why Twilight is beneath her as well. Everyone is beneath Sunset as far as who is supposed to be leading at this point. And they did a really good job here. So I just wanted to show this scene because Sunset is adorable, and we also get more of the center visuals right here. Because once again, Sunset has become the center of the show. She is the middle. And that's really cool. I know this was me just praising Rainbow Rocks. It would be a lot more just praising Rainbow Rocks if I had more time. The Dazzlings are one of my favorite groups of villains, if not my favorite in MLP. I really like Chrysalis too, but yeah, this whole movie is basically just a Sunset vehicle. I wish that would have continued into the next movies and into the rest of the series. Sunset should have been the focal point of the entire Equestria Girls line, but she was not, and we got Twi, and we got a lot more of the other characters. So I'm not gonna lie, everyone, I had really high expectations for this movie, but seeing this with Sunset already sharing center was just, I already knew. So this scene is where I really got into this movie, and it's really good until a point. We see that Sunset is getting everyone's magic. It's not just hers. It's everyone's magic combined with hers, which is great. This is showing that their bonds are as strong as Twilight's bonds were in the first movie. And she literally becomes an angel, basically. And this was perfect for her character because it showed that she had learned what Twilight was trying to teach her. And we get awesome. This is awesome. Everything with this scene is awesome up to a point. Remember, this isn't Twilight Sparkle from Equestria that she's fighting. This is Twilight from this world. She doesn't even really know equestrian magic. And look at this. How is Twilight beating Sunset? What's the point? You've killed your own story with this part. This is so dumb. Sunset only wins because Spike, for some reason. So you're telling me that Sunset with the other main six with her friends cannot beat a Twilight Sparkle that isn't even Equestria's Twilight Sparkle. This is just Sci-Twi. This is a nerdy girl in the real world that doesn't know a thing about magic. That completely killed Sunset's momentum. It would have been completely beautiful for the turnaround to happen, for Sunset in Equestria Girls 1 to have lost to the main six, and then in Equestria Girls 2 in Rainbow Rocks to have forged bonds with them. And then in this one, in Friendship Games, she was able to overcome an evil Twilight with the help of her friends. But we didn't get that. We got her losing until Spike jumps out and weakens Twilight. And that just completely killed Sunset Shimmer's momentum. And sadly enough, that was it. The writing was on the walls. It was pretty obvious at this point that Sunset was not going to be the main protagonist moving forward with Equestria Girls. Sadly enough, this movie really killed everything that Rainbow Rocks established about her character. And we were just going back to status quo Twilight Sparkle. Don't get me wrong, I am very much a Twilight Sparkle fan, and you'll see that later. But I really wanted Equestria Girls to be Sunsets, and even here you see on screen that they were forcing Twilight and Sunset to share center. It was no longer Sunset being center, it was here they are together and they're both going to be center, which is, like I said, writing on the walls for we don't trust this character to carry this series, so we're just going to bring the original main character in a different capacity. And what really sucks is that if you watched Legend of Everfree, this becomes more apparent. I mean, look at this. It speaks for itself. You've got Twilight in center, you've got Twilight in center again, you've got Twilight in center again, and it was just Twilight being the main character from this point forward. And that really sucks because Sunset is incredible. She is such a good character. But that doesn't mean all of this gloom and doom doesn't mean that we didn't have any hope.
Power was all I desired, but all that grew inside me was a darkness I acquired. When I began to fall and I lost the path ahead, that's when your friendship found me and it lifted me instead. Like the phoenix burning bright in the sky, I'll show there's another side to me you can't deny. I may not know what the future holds, but hear me when I say that my past does not define me, 'cause my past is not today.
So, with the title like Sunset's Potential and me talking about hope, you probably thought I was going to refer to the specials that occurred after the movies. They were definitely something. A lot of people were probably happy because they delved back into Equestria and back into ponies, and we got to see Pony Sunset more. But I really viewed them as just exactly what I said the problem was before, turned up even more. They didn't trust Sunset, Equestria Girl Sunset, to be able to carry a series by herself, so they just returned things to Equestria and made Pony Sunset a lot more prevalent and made Twilight a lot more prevalent and brought back characters from Equestria and relied on that. And that really sucks, because you see stuff like what's on screen, And Sunset had incredible potential as far as the canon went, and instead they just did stuff like this. Which, again, who's in the center? That's Twilight. 3 on the left, 3 on the right. Again, who's in the center? Twilight. 3 on the left, 3 on the right. Who's in the center? It's just a repetition at this point. Twilight, 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 Twilight. And that's fine. I mean, at least on this last one, Sunset is in the middle. Literally the last thing they ever did for Equestria Girls, Sunset got the center again. But yeah, they already knew at that point that they were not going to make any more. And that Sunset was not going to be the main character of anything after Rainbow Rocks. And that sucks. But the potential that I'm speaking of is right here.
The echo faded and stopped, but much later than it should have. If she didn't know any better, she would have guessed that there was someone walking behind her. She spun, her two-toned hair whipping with the force, and cast her eyes back. Standing less than 20 feet away was a figure clad all in black. A black ski mask covered his face.
For those of you who still only do canon, that's cool. You guys do you, or you girls do you, or you people do you. But Sunset, her real potential lies in what she gave the fandom as far as what they could do with her and her character. In the show, she's great. I love her. She's awesome. She has her great moments. But really special stuff like that fanfic and other fanfics that I've read that have Sunset as the center, as the protagonist, or as even a side character. She has so much potential. Like her relationship with Celestia. There are really good fan animations on YouTube of Sunset betraying Celestia and stuff like that. And that is really where Sunset's character thrives. And it's with the potential she has to be used to tell stories. All of the other characters obviously have this potential as well. But Sunset specifically, her story didn't go incredibly well in canon. Essentially, she wasn't as fleshed out as she could have been. And fanfiction writers and fan animators and whatnot, they really utilized that. And that makes me like Sunset all the more. There are a bunch of fanfictions with her. I'll just mention one because the author doesn't really like his stuff being spread out without his permission, but it's by Voice in the Water. It's on Fanfiction. If you get a chance, read that story. It is incredible. It makes Sunset so awesome. Like, it's very, very good. But yeah, this video is obviously going on for way too long. Somehow I made it just as long as the first one, longer than the first one. But I wanted to talk about Sunset. I wanted to talk about Rainbow Rocks because, like I said, I love Rainbow Rocks too. I love Sunset. I love the Dazzlings, but that's another video when I get to villains and stuff. I want to mention my animator again, right here. Once again, Nam is doing all of the great work. He's the one who's behind all of the original artwork on the channel and the new YouTube banner that I have. His work speaks for itself. It's incredible, and the amount of love he's getting is not enough. He should be getting more love, more commissions, more everything else. So if you've got some artwork you need done, go check him out here, or there will be links in the description as well. And that's going to be all for this one. Thanks for watching if you're still here, and hopefully you come around for the next one and my fanfic readings that I'm going to start as well. Later, everyone. Love y'all.